Everyone, welcome to Redbus TS channel. In this video, we'll look at the H1B Visa 2025 lottery predictions. So what we'll do in this video is we'll look at various factors that will influence the H1B Visa lottery. We'll look at past data trends and a lot of these factors. And then towards the end, we'll come up with a number. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, do subscribe for getting regular updates. So let's get started. So based on our experience, we believe that these are some of the primary factors that have an impact on the H1B registrations and the lottery. So we look at the trends of the data, like the lottery selection process, the US economy, number of F1 students in the US, H4 holders, and all of these other factors, right? So what we'll do is we'll look at each of these in detail in the next sections. So firstly, if you look at the past data, right, we track this from 2004, we see that the last decade or so, for the last 11 years, we had H1B lottery. So we don't see this coming down for this year. So we believe that there is definitely going to be H1B lottery this year. So that's the key takeaway from this. Now, in terms of the volume of filings, what we see that is, in the last decade or so, it's always over 100,000, 120,000, pretty big numbers rather, I would say. So last year was a record year with 61% increase. That's because to a lot of people filing many registrations, right? Again, we may not expect this same number because there are rules are changing for this year. But just for you to get a sense, this is not, the demand is not coming down. So we look at the exact number towards the end. So one of the important things are the changes to the H1B Visa lottery selection process. So what you see on the screen is the number of applicants who had more than one H1B registrations filed in a particular year. So for 2024, there are 400,000 people who had more than one H1B registration submitted on behalf of them, right? So this is what basically like the duplicate or multiple registration submissions that we can look at, right? So what this tells is as part of this new process, right? So what they're doing is they're mandating that everybody submit either a passport number or a travel document number, and they are going to use this basically this as the primary key to do the lottery selection. What they do is basically they'll take all the registrations. Let's say one applicant has four offers, right? So in the past, all of them used to get added to the pool, and there would be four chances literally for four submissions. Now what they do is they'll actually take the passport number of the person, and then they'll put it in the pool. So there is no really an incentive for them to basically submit multiple or duplicate. So this is going to significantly reduce the number of duplicate, rather I would say multiple H1B registrations by these IT body shops. Now, in terms of economy, right, it's doing pretty decent. GDP is about 3.2% and unemployment is 3.7%. GDP is better. Unemployment is also pretty similar. So while the overall US economy looks good, right, it doesn't really translate into H1B job demand, right? Because if you see in the last 2 years, since 2022, there is a 23% decrease in H1B visa jobs. This is based on H1B LCA filings data that we did analysis. So overall, the market doesn't look fantastic. So we may see a dip in the filings are based on this factor, right? So that's what it means. Now, in terms of F1 students, right, if you look at it, this is the data for the last 3 years. There is a demand in the number of people who have come into the US as a student. So it's last year was only 3.8%. Now it's about 11.5% growth. Now, there are about 198, KF1 students on OPT. And also one important stat is based on the data from the past data, there are about 40% of them are in STEM field. So basically these guys get 3 slots in the law in that, or they get, 36 months of overall OPT period, which is 24 months OPT, right? Of the total 36. So if you add up all of them, you get about 600K. So what this tells is there is a significant number of F1 students on OPT and STEM OPT who will be applying. So this is going to really add up to the overall H1B registration filings, right? Now, there has been a lot of, delays with the perm. So firstly, H4 visa holders cannot work in this, not all of them. You need to have I-1 foot approved and you need to meet certain conditions, right? So due to this perm delays, many of them are stuck because, they're not able to complete that process for their spouses and they're stuck in that thing. And also in terms of filings, also many companies are not doing perm. Only 1.6% increase in the perm filings in the last, year compared to the previous years. So overall, what this tells is, H4 spouses in a tough spot, and for them, their only option is to go for H1B. So this is going to increase the number of H1B visa filings, compare, from H1 to H4 visa holder standpoint. In terms of L1 visa holders, right, I know these are people who are on L1 visa, but they're stuck to a company. So usually, many of these, people or L1 visa holders, they try to find a job and go for an H1B as well. So this is also something that will add up to the H1B registrations, right? Again, if you don't get lucky in the first try, you keep trying many times. I know people who tried more than 5 times, but unfortunately, this is the reality. So that's why we see many people who basically could not get selected. They're going to apply this year as well. And also the process is very seamless. Since the registration process came in, it's very easy, and also the fee is very, very low. It's only $10. Because the new fee is only be effective from 2024 April 1st. So it's not going to be effective for this fiscal year. So that's why we believe that this is going to be very, very easy for them to apply. So if you stack up all of these, right, so based on the past few years trend, we see that definitely there'll be lottery. With the lottery change process or the new changes to the rules, this will significantly reduce the H1B registrations. From the economy standpoint, it's kind of neutral. We will get reasonable to less H1B registrations. In terms of F1 students, there will be more H1B registrations because there are more people who are actually in OPT, in STEM OPT in the US, right? And also from H4 and L1, there are also going to be more. But the previous applicants also will be applying, so that also will add up to the registrations. And again, this is a last chance for the low fee for many of these IT body shops, so they're going to push for it. So that will also be more. So even though if you look at most of these, they say more, but the one big one that's going to really have a big impact on the total number of filings is this changes to the lottery selection. So what we believe, this is going to significantly drive down the H1B registrations. So if you look at this, right, just coming to the final, how many can we expect this year? Just last year, there were 350 applicants who had only single H1B registration. So looking at the demand, it's not going to go down. So we do not anticipate that, this will be less than 350K for sure, right? So that is the fundamental message here. So the second one is, because that's going to be higher, we also need to look at people who have genuine people who had more than one offer, right? So these are the people who actually, have an offer from Google, Microsoft, they want to have options for them and all, right? So that is why this is the reason, we should also factor in those people into the overall thing. So if you look at this overall analysis, we predict that the overall numbers can be anywhere from 420 to 500,000 H1B registrations. Again, if you see, last year it was about 780K. Now we are literally going to come down to 420K, and because just looking at these numbers, these are hunch again. These things are, again, a lot of people do predictions. We have been doing predictions for many years, right? So we come pretty close to the predictions. So again, looking at the overall analysis, we believe that we can expect anywhere from 420K to 500,000. So we'd love to hear what you think of this H1B predictions, and how many registrations do you expect in this fiscal year. So we will put links in the description. Please read the articles and all of that. Again, do subscribe for getting regular updates. Thank you for watching and being part of the community.